Welcome to our YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. The picture that you're seeing on that screen is a High Court judge. Her name is Mugure Thande. Mugure has been trending for a while now. She came to the limelight at the height when there was a controversy between Kenyans and the executive government. When William Ruto decided to capture all the departments in Kenya and forcefully passed the Finance Bill 2023 and signed it into law, one other brave man, Okia Mutata, who is the Senator of Busia, went to court, and this case landed in Mugure's hands. And Judge Mugure suspended the implementation of this bill. Now, Mugure has been transferred. It was just reported there. The judge who suspended Finance Act transferred in latest reshuffle. Lady Justice Mugure Thande, who suspended President William Ruto's Finance Act 2023, is among the 13 judges who have been moved in the latest reshuffle in the judiciary. Mugure has been moved to Malindi Court in changes effected by Principal Judge of the High Court, Justice Eric Ogola. She will be replaced by Justice Chacha Mwita, who will be the presiding judge at the Malindi Constitutional and Human Rights Division. While it is very normal to effect transfer of civil servants, the one of Mugure is raising eyebrows. I will tell you why it is raising eyebrows, because you may think that we are reading too much. In Kenya, it is very easy to settle scores by transferring an officer or a staff member. Recently, you saw the minister in the Ministry of Health, Madam Nakumincha, who issued a decree and gave a 24 hours of ultimatum for a police officer to be transferred because she thought that this officer had committed something, was culpable, or was sleeping on his job. It is also very normal, even in schools, when there is a teacher that the parents feel is not doing well, or there is bad blood between them, for him to be transferred from one area to the other, one school to the other. I have also seen some influential people threatening a police officer that if you joke around, you will be taken to most hardship areas like Turukana and northeastern areas. So when you want to punish a civil servant, you will use legal mechanisms that no one will question. For example, you will be seen to be insane if you start questioning why Judge Mugure was transferred when she was not the only one that was transferred. The changes affected many judges. There were changes across the board, swapping, one going to one court, moving from one court to the other. But for those who can read in between the lines and join the dots, you will realize that Judge Mugure was being transferred for a reason. I have a feeling that the reason why this judge has been removed here is because when you are transferred to Malindi, you are not in Nairobi, because you realize that many a times when leaders want to take the government head on, they will go to Milimani law courts. Most of the cases will be handled in Nairobi. So Mugure has been transferred to be outside Nairobi. William Ruto never believed that there is any judge that can defy him. It was unbelievable to him. Now I want to paint for you a picture why it is almost an abomination to defy Ruto orders. If you allow me, I will submit to you that in Kenya today, we are ruled by external powers. For those who follow this channel, I have made a lot of noise about this. Most of the decisions that are made here are made by the international community, our big brothers. The USA, the United Kingdom, the European Union. Those are the people that have captured our nation, and they have captured the most important institutions. It started when they were planning to install William Ruto to the presidency. And they ensured that the IBC was inside the box. The judiciary and the Supreme Court was inside the box. Because they knew very well that these were the most important institutions when you want to capture power. And you saw how things went from the IEBC to the courts and the non-judicial terms that were used. And they knew the reason why they had to ensure that the judiciary is in the box is because the judiciary was going to be used to maintain Ruto in power. When the USA wanted the LGBTQ plus law to pass, it is an abomination in our country. Our constitution outlaws LGBTQ. But they brought in an article within the judiciary. The Supreme Court sat down and decided that even though it is against the law, these people have got the right of association. And with that alone, the US can now fund some right groups and perpetuate this very unpopular culture in our country. And so they also knew very well that there will come a time when people would want to rebel against William Ruto. And when all these things are forcefully introduced to us, people will run to court. This is why the 50 CSS ended up in court. The GMO ended up in court. And the Finance Bill 2023 ended up in court. Even though you may argue that the GMO case is pending and the courts suspended the 50 CSS that William Ruto had appointed, the most important case that they would have ruled in favor of the people, I would have vindicated them and said that they have reformed, is the Finance Bill 2023. This Finance Bill is touching at the heart of the people. It is the reason why people went to the streets and people were killed. It is the reason why civil servants are crying foul. If you ask every civil servant, the deductions are just too many, too much. And this is something that has been brought by the IMF and the World Bank. They have their own conditions. I want you to mark this date. The World Bank is the one that is now controlling us. They have given us loans. The IMF together have given us loans. And they are giving conditions and dictates that we must follow. We must increase taxes on fuel, the VAT, value-added tax. We must increase taxes on electricity. And in every situation where we had subsidies on unga, on electricity, that was removed. Why? They claimed it really overstretching the government. That when the government has decided to cushion the people from hardship, somebody somewhere sits and says that you must remove this and you have to play to their system and what they want. And so with this, William Ruto can and could not and will not afford to let go the finance bill. Intimidation, threats, bribery, sweet talking must be employed to ensure that the finance bill 2023 passes. And so, ladies and gentlemen, with this kind of change where a judge is transferred, even though it is very normal, it is a normal practice, we read mischief. You have seen sometimes when the government decides to reduce the security of the former president or that of Mamangina, they will say that those are normal changes that are happening. The government will always use something that is within the law so that you don't question it, even though the motive can be very ulterior. And so this has exposed, and if, in fact, if there is one thing that exposed our country, was this finance bill. Exposed the executive, exposed even more the judiciary, because we had known them, exposed the legislature. Leave alone the state capture that this administration used to talk about when they were not in power. Today we have even a more state capture that we have, like we've never seen before. I only hope that our judges are safe.